Good morning children. Welcome to today's video session of Standard 8 Geography 3rd Unit Hydrologic Cycle. Hydro means water. So in today's class we are going to see the status of water on the earth and the different components of water. Let's move on to the video session.
Unit 3 Hydrologic Cycle. Water is one of the most important elements on earth. All plants and animals need water for survival. Apart from drinking, water is required for domestic, agriculture, industrial purpose, etc. Water is very essential for carrying out almost all economic activities. So, water is an indispensable element without which life form on earth is not possible. Water on the earth, about 71% of the earth's surface is covered by water. The quantity of water present on earth is about 326 million cubic miles. It is hard to visualize this massive quantity of water. Most of water on the earth is saline, that is salt water. And where it is found? Yes, in seas and oceans. The salt water constitutes about 97.2% and the fresh water is only about 2.8%. Out of this 2.8%, about 2.2% is available as surface water and the remaining 0.6% as groundwater. From this 2.2% of surface water, 2.15% is available in the form of glaciers and ice caps. 0.01% in lakes and streams and the remaining 0.04% is in other forms. Only about 0.25% of the total groundwater of 0.6% can be economically extracted with the present drilling technology. Water resources are useful or potentially useful to humans. Water in India is available in three sources. They are precipitation, surface water and groundwater. Hydrologic cycle or water cycle. Hydrology is a science which deals with various aspects of water such as its occurrence, distribution, movement and properties on the planet Earth. Availability of water on the earth is not uniform. Some places are very rich in water resources while some other places are poor in water resources. Hydrologic cycle is a global sun-driven process where water is transported from ocean to atmosphere, from atmosphere to land and from land back to ocean. The water cycle can be considered as a closed system for the earth as the quantity of water involved in the cycle is invariable, though its distribution varies over space and time. Evaporation takes place from the surface water and transpiration from plants. Water vapor gets condensed at higher altitude by condensation and form clouds resulting in droplets. The clouds melt and sometimes burst resulting in precipitation of different forms. A part of water from precipitation flows over the land is called runoff and the other part infiltrates into the soil which build up the groundwater. Hydrologic cycle is the circulation of water. It is a continuous process and takes place naturally. The three important phases of hydrological cycle are evapotranspiration, precipitation and runoff. Now we'll see the components of hydrologic cycle. There are 6 main components in hydrologic cycle. They are evapotranspiration, condensation, precipitation, infiltration, percolation and runoff. Evapotranspiration. It is defined as the total loss of water from the earth through evaporation from the surface water bodies and the transpiration from vegetation. In cropped area, it is difficult to determine the evaporation and transpiration separately. Therefore, it is collectively called as evapotranspiration. Evaporation. Evaporation refers to the process in which the liquid form of water changes into gaseous form. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, that is 212 Fahrenheit. But it actually begins to evaporate at 0 degrees Celsius, that is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and the process takes place very slowly. Temperature is a prime element which affects the rate of evaporation. There is a positive relationship between these two variables. A real extent of surface water, wind and the atmospheric humidity are the other variables which affect the rate of evaporation. Many studies reveal that oceans, seas, lakes and rivers provide nearly 90% of the moisture in the atmosphere through evaporation, and the remaining 10% is contributed by plants through transpiration. On a gold scale, the amount of water gets evaporated is about the same as the amount of water delivered to Earth as precipitation. This process varies geographically as the evaporation is more prevalent over the oceans than precipitation. While over the land, precipitation routinely exceeds evaporation. The rate of evaporation is low during the period of calm wind than during windy times. When the air is calm, evaporated water tends to stay close to the water body. During windy, the water vapor is driven away and is replaced by dry air, which facilitates additional evaporation. The rate of evaporation increases with increase in wind speed, increase in temperature, decrease in humidity and increase in areal extent of surface water bodies. Next topic, transpiration. Transpiration refers to the process by which the water content in the plants are released into the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. Much of the water taken up by plants is released through transpiration. The rate of transpiration is also affected by the temperature, wind and humidity, the soil water content and the availability of the soil to conduct water to the roots. The nature of the plant parts, including barks and leaves, also determine the transpirational rate. In case of agriculture, the crop characteristics, its environment and cultivation practices also affects the transpiration process. Next topic, condensation. It refers to the process in which the gaseous form of water changes into liquid form. Condensation generally occurs in the atmosphere when warm air rises, cools and loses its capacity to hold water vapor. As a result, excess water vapor condenses to form cloud droplets. Condensation is responsible for the formation of clouds. These clouds produce precipitation, which is the primary route for water to return to the Earth's surface in the water cycle. Condensation is the opposite of evaporation. Now we'll see the forms of condensation. Dew, fog and clouds are the three major forms of condensation. Dew. It is a water droplet formed by the condensation of water vapor on a relatively cold surface of an object. It forms when the temperature of an object drops below the dew point temperature. Do you know? Condensation occurs when the air gets saturated. Warm air can hold more water vapor than the cold air. Saturation occurs when the temperature drops down. Next, frost. Frost. The ice crystal formed by deposition of water vapor on a relatively cold surface of an object is known as frost. It forms when the temperature of an object drops below the freezing point of temperature. Fog. Fog is a suspended tiny water droplet or ice crystal in an air layer next to the Earth's surface that reduces the visibility to 1000 m or lower. For aviation purpose, the criterion for fog is 10 km or less. Mist. Mist is the tiny droplets of water hanging in the air. These droplets form when the water vapor is in the air, it's rapidly cooled, causing it to change from invisible gas to tiny visible water droplets. Mist is less dense than fog. Clouds. Clouds consist of tiny water droplets or ice particles which are so small and light in weight. Clouds are formed by microscopic drops of water or by small ice crystals. The size of the droplets generally range from a couple of microns to 100 microns. This is the limit beyond which clouds drops become raindrops. Precipitation. Precipitation refers to all forms of water that falls from clouds and reaches the Earth's surface. For the occurrence of precipitation, cloud droplets or ice crystals must grow heavy enough to fall through the air. When the droplets grow large in size, they tend to fall. While moving down by collecting some small droplets, they become heavy enough to fall out of the clouds as raindrops. Forms of precipitation. The form of precipitation is a region depends on the kind of weather or the climate of the region. The precipitation in the warmer parts of the world is always in the form of rain or drizzle. In older regions, precipitation may fall as snow or ice. Common type of precipitation includes sleet, freezing rain, hail and snow. Now we'll see what is rain. The most common kind of precipitation is rain. The precipitation in the form of water droplet is called rain. The precipitation in which the size of raindrops are lesser than 0.5 mm in diameter is known as drizzle, and the raindrops with greater than 0.5 mm in diameter is known as rain. Generally, drizzle takes place from stratus cloud. Sleet. The precipitation which takes place in the form of mixture of water droplets and tiny particles of ice, that is 5 mm in diameter, is known as sleet. Sometimes raindrops falls through a layer of air below 0 degrees Celsius, the freezing point of water. As they fall, the raindrop freeze into solid particles of ice. So the mixture of water droplets and ice particles would fall on the Earth's surface. Freezing rain. At other times, raindrops falling through cold air near ground do not freeze in the air. Instead, the raindrops freeze when they touch the cold surface. This is called freezing rain, and the drops of water are usually greater than 0.5 mm in diameter. Hail. The precipitation which consists of round pellets of ice which are larger than 5 mm in diameter is called hail or hailstone. Hail forms only in cumulonimbus clouds during thunderstorms. A hailstone starts as an ice pellet inside a cold region of a cloud. Strong updrafts in the cloud carry the hailstone up and down through the cold region maintains. Snow. Often water vapor in a cloud is converted directly into snow pieces due to lowering of temperature. It appears like a powdery mass of ice. The precipitation in the form of powdery mass of ice is known as snowfall. It is common in the polar and high mountainous region. Infiltration. Water entering the soil at the surface of the ground is termed as infiltration. Infiltration allows the soil temporarily to store water, making it available for plant use and organism in the soil. Infiltration is an important process where rainwater soaks into the ground through the soil and underlying rocks layers. Some of this water ultimately returns to the surface through springs or low spots down hills. Some of the water remains underground and is called groundwater. The rate of infiltration is influenced by the physical characteristics of the soil, vegetative cover, moisture contents of the soil temperature, and rainfall intensity. The terms infiltration and percolations are often used interchangeably. Percolation. Percolation is the downward movement of infiltrated water through soil and rocks layer. Infiltration occurs near the surface of the soil and delivers water from the surface into the soil and plant's root zones. Percolation moves the infiltrated water through the soil profile and rock layers, which lead to the formation of groundwater or become a part of subsurface runoff process. Thus, the percolation process represents the flow of water from unsaturated zone to the saturated zone. Runoff. Runoff is a water that is pulled by gravity across land surface. It replenishes groundwater and surface water as it percolates into an aquifer, that is, into an underground layer of water-bearing rocks, or moves into a river, stream, or watershed. It comes from unobserved water from rain, snow melt, irrigation, or other sources, comprising a sufficient element in the water cycle as well as the water supply when it drains into a watershed. Runoff is also a major contributor to the erosion, which carves out canyons, gorges, and related landforms. The amount of runoff that can happen depends on the amount of rainfall, porosity of soil, vegetation, and slope. Only about 35% of precipitation ends up in the sea or ocean, and the other 65% is absorbed into the soil. Types of runoff. Based on the time interval between the instance of rainfall and the generation of runoff, the runoff may be classified into following three types: surface runoff, subsurface runoff, base flow. Surface runoff. It is the portion of rainfall which enter the streams immediately after the rainfall. It occurs when the rainfall is longer, heavier, and exceeds the rate of infiltration. In this condition, the excess water makes a head over the ground surface, which tends to move from one place to another following land gradient and is known as overland flow. When the overland flow joins the streams, channels, or ocean, it is termed as surface runoff or surface flow. Subsurface runoff. The water that enters the subsoil and moves laterally without joining the water table to the streams, rivers, or ocean is known as subsurface runoff. The subsurface runoff is usually referred as interflow. Next, base flow. It is the flow of underground water from a saturated groundwater zone to a water channel. It usually appears at a downstream location where the channel elevation is lower than the groundwater table. Groundwater provides the stream flow during the dry periods of a small or no precipitation. Now let's move on to the recap and evaluation part.